But as we bring in this outstanding young man, he's charged with getting BYU's cornerbacks to play defense like he did when he was a player.
If he could do that, then we're in good shape.
Our pleasure to welcome Jernaro Gilford to the Wise Guys. We got your mic up. Hey, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
It's good to have you here. We were going to have us as a discussion point, but let's bring you in on this. CBS reporting that Colorado's had direct talks with the Big 12 about making a move. Doesn't mean they will, but it also certainly confirms that they might. Does the Big 12 need Colorado? Does it need to expand their borders? What's your opinion?
That's above my pay grade, but of course, the more the merrier.
Would you like it to see it be a 14-team league or even go to 16?
Yeah, 16 would be good. 14 would be good. To have two different sides with a lot of different talented programs would make the Big 12 great with teams in, I want to say it's all the time zones.
I think that's what they're looking for.
Yeah, I know that it's Kliakov. No, Yormark. No, do not say Kliakov. That's the Pac-12 guy that's struggling. So Yormark, and we had a nice visit with Yormark at the Baylor game.
Right.
He came on set with us and had a good visit with him. He's got this great vision for this conference to be a coast-to-coast conference. You've already got Central Florida and West Virginia in the East Coast time zone. Cincinnati's in the East Coast time zone. And to pick up, Colorado, another in the Mountain time zone, and then if you could get
maybe one over Arizona,
you get Arizona or San Diego State even. Or
do you, from a recruiting standpoint, you recruit Arizona? Do you care if BYU has a presence in Arizona? Like, would an Arizona school benefit BYU by being in the Big 12?
I'm not sure if it'll benefit or if it'll hurt us, because then we'll be going against the same guys in the same conference.
Yeah.
Like for right now, we're in the Big 12, so the selling point is a little bit different,
right,
than both the Arizona and Arizona State. So I'm not 100% sure how that would affect us. I don't
think we lose kids to those schools. I just don't know if it gives us more advantage to say, we're also going to play there.
Now it was interesting. So back when I played, which was like we used to fold our helmets up and put them in our pockets. That's like it's leather helmets, no face mask. But
about 10 years ago.
Yeah, so long ago. But we used to have a deal with the University of Hawaii, who was in our league at the time, in the old WAC, that we would play them 4 years, 3 years and then one here, 3 on the road. And we got the Hawaii Player of the Year every year for 8 straight years, because we would tell them, listen, we're taking you home to play in front of your home crowd every year. And I think that maybe is the only angle that you could play with. We could say, listen, we realize Arizona State, we're gonna play at one of those schools every year down there, and you're gonna go play in front of a home crowd down there, but you're gonna play on a winning team. So that's a recruiting. I won't be three on the road and one at home like it was with Hawaii. We loved it. We got to go pretty much every year to Hawaii.
Hey, Richard from Panama checking in tonight. That's our first visit from Panama.
Have we had anybody from? Yeah, we had somebody from Argentina.
Yeah,
that was on. And we've had Japan,
but our first from Panama.
That's our first from Panama. So, Richard, thanks for joining us from Panama today.
Has this whole Cougar Nation thing, does it blow your mind, the reach that the program has around the world?
You know what? It does, especially because as a player, I didn't really pay attention like that.
Yeah,
I didn't really notice how we branched out so much. Like, it's really, really worldwide. So as a recruiting tool now, I definitely use it. Like, trust me, like Cougar Nation is huge. It's like, it's bigger than you can even imagine.
Well, we get a taste of it on this show and everything we do with BYU TV.
People from all over the world, and then we get emails. We're doing basketball games, and we have people emailing from Brazil saying, hey, that was great to watch you. Brazil and Panama and Chile and Argentina and remember we had a whole group of folks that were getting up in the middle of the night and watching games that we were doing in Singapore and South Korea that were serving in the military. And we just thought, how cool is it that BYU really has not just a national brand, but a global brand?
Yes, it's definitely global. Definitely appreciate it.
Who does it mean more to, the kid or the parent, when you go into a house?
Probably the parent.
Yeah.
Honestly. Yeah. Because sometimes the kids are worried about ball in school.
Right.
Because they haven't reached that maturity level yet of just to know how much the global connection can really, really be, especially as far as life after football.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
And we've talked about on this show, G, about like NIL deals at BYU are being structured a little bit different, where it's not just, hey, we're going to give you $200,000, so just come, and then you hurt your knee and sorry, the $200,000's gone. Yeah. Where it's, we're going to give you some money, so don't worry about that. You're not going to be struggling here financially, but we're going to network you with a global network of people that are going to help you start businesses and help you get going and mentor you. And when you're done with football, you're going to be able to make a great living the rest of your life because of the contacts you make by coming here. Yeah. And is that something that you currently are selling to parents, especially right now?
Yes, that's the most important thing as far as the parents go. I mean, because at the end of the day, it is what it is. We're in the college football world where everybody's getting the NIL deals, and but if you can sell them on the point of life after football, especially with the connections and what it be involved, and I'm like, look, you have to come see it. Like, just give me a chance. Come on and visit, meet everybody, see what we're doing, and then make your decision. So,
and you usually get your guy.
If you get him here, right?
It's a high percentage.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's good.
It's a high percentage. You know, we don't get them all. We have to find the right fit.
Right.
You know, guys who want to be here, guys who can fit in both on and off the field.
Right.
But we kind of do that homework prior to. So majority of the time, if we get them here, that means that them and their parents liked what we had to say. So.
As a player, you started in 28 games at the corner. So what mentality must you have to be a good corner at this level of the game?
Yeah. Short-term memory, you know, that's going to be one. At the end of the day, we play a position where we're going to get beat. I mean, you can't do anything about it, you know. Guys are going to catch the ball. So you got to be able to forget about it and move on to the next play. And then you got to be competitive. You gotta love to win. I tell my guys all the time. I mean, regardless of what it is, I don't care if we're playing word scramble or tic-tac-toe. Like, you have to love to win. Like, you have to genuinely love it. So if you have a short-term memory and you're competitive, a student of the game, you could be successful.
You know, when you talk about that competitive nature, I was talking about it on this show like a year ago, watching some summer workouts, and then once fall camp started in August, and you guys are in one-on-ones, and I noticed like your top guys, Caleb and D'Angelo and these guys, when the top receivers would come up, when Puka would come up once he was healthy, they'd be like, "Oh, I got him. Let me." And I said, "Whoa, I liked that. I liked that your best guys wanted to cover and defend the best guys." Is that something you teach them to do, or do they just have that?
They just kind of have it, and they learn from the older guys, you know. And it works both ways. We have receivers the exact same way. If they're up and a young guy's up, they're like, "Nope, move. let me get the vet." So it just builds that competitive spirits throughout the whole practice.
In baseball, we hear that phrase, "Good pitching beats good hitting." Almost every time. We see it in the World Series all the time. When a quarterback is on, it's like back in the day when Blaine's playing. When he's on and he's got good receivers to throw to,
they can't stop us.
What's it like over there?
Look, it's definitely like that, man. It's certain times where a quarterback in the wideout, they're on point.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have great coverage, you're in the right spot and everything, but the quarterback puts it in the right spot. The receiver makes a tremendous catch, and you can't do anything about it but get up and, again, short-term memory.
Yeah.
You got to just move on to the next play. But, I mean, we've seen it over the past few years with, like, guys like Puka and Isaac Rex and, Chase and Gunner. You know, sometimes guys are in perfect position, and sometimes even like the Boise State game, the DB gets a hand on the ball and it still doesn't matter.
Yeah.
He still catches it, and it's like, I don't know what else to do, coach. You know,
we talk about that Baylor game down there when Puka, even though they're a top 10 defense that year, it was just like whoa, Puka's in a zone, and it's just like
Just
they
throw it.
cannot stop him right now. No matter what they do, they cannot stop him. And that's tough when a guy's kind of hot throwing it and has a hot target that just is gobbling up everything. Hard to stop, right?
Absolutely. Especially if you don't have a short-term memory.
Right.
Because then I'm thinking about the last 3 times the guy threw the ball. Like, okay, he jumped over me one time. He threw it back shoulder another time. He dove for another one. And I was there on all 3 of them. And he's throwing it again. And you're like, okay, please, let me make the play. And he catches it again. It's like, wow. You can't really do anything about it.
Then he has to face you, and he comes off the sideline. What do you tell him?
Hey, man, keep on playing.
Yeah.
Keep your head up. Keep your head up and keep on playing. Make the next play.
And you tell him you're in the right spot, you're doing all the right things,
Yeah.
and so it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like I see you, but just because he caught the ball doesn't mean I don't see you, right?
Absolutely. My guys know. I never get upset with them if they're in a man-to-man situation. If they're in the right spot at the right time, and it's a good throw and a good catch. It's like, man, hey, it happens. Keep on battling, and eventually your time will come.
So this statement we hear, how true is this? Perfect throw, perfect route and perfect throw beats perfect coverage every time. Is that a true statement?
From a defensive guy, we want to know if that's a true
because we always say
statement.
that. We always used to say,
Not every time.
If,
No.
if,
Not every
if you
time.
run a perfect route and the throw is perfect, it's going to beat perfect coverage every time. We used to say that. Of course, we had to say that because we were offense, right?
Not every time. No.
Not every time.
No. Because sometimes we're in perfect coverage and we did our homework, so we might cheat a little bit.
Jump the route.
Yeah.
We might have a certain leverage,
Yeah.
which is, a way to gain an advantage. If we keep our advantage, sometimes we can make those plays.
Nice.
Jernaro Gilford's on the Wise Guys tonight, live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and wiseguys.com. Put us in your helmet from your playing days as a corner and what you teach. You're playing the corner spot. The ball is snapped. What are you looking for?
If we're in man, I'm looking at nothing but my man. Nothing but my man. I'm just trying to mirror him wherever he goes. And if he breaks down, I'm breaking down. If the ball's thrown, I'm definitely trying to make a play. I'm trying to make a play on it. Absolutely. If we're in any kind of zone coverages, I always tell my guys that's really our opportunity to make plays, to cause turnovers, because now we can see the quarterback, we can see routes, we can see the route combinations that are developing. So now we can kind of guess a little bit. So I always tell my guys, zones are definitely our time to make plays, because now we really know whether it's a single receiver, 2 receivers, 3 receivers, whatever the case may be, we can kind of cheat a little bit.
And you can read some eyes.
Absolutely, we have to.
When we hear the term, we use it, and Brian Logan comes on with us, and in man, he'll go, oh, like he had great leverage, and then he got dirty eyes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we hear that frame of reference all the time. What does that mean?
Yeah. So I always tell my guys, and they'll tell you now, if we're in man coverage, they know my saying is, if you see him throw it, you're gonna see him catch it.
Oh, that's a great term.
So,
because if you see him throw it, your eyes were in the wrong spot, because they
Absolutely.
should have been on the receiver when the ball was coming out, right?
Absolutely.
If you're playing man, for all our young DBs out there, when is it okay to look back for the ball? What's the timing on that? When can you look?
On vertical routes, it's really a feel. It's really a feeling, and we call it in phase. So if I'm running with you and you have a clock in your head, like if he's running, if it's past about that 12-yard mark, I'd rather my guys just look for the ball. I want my guys playing the ball. So we always defend the vertical, react on the comeback, but I want my guys to play the ball, make a play on it, and it's kind of hard because some guys it's harder than others, but it's definitely a feel.
Let's talk about some of your guys. Eddie Heckard.
Yep.
Comes from the transfer portal, All-American up at Weber State. What do you like about him?
Again, a guy whose football IQ is very, very high, competitive, a guy who he wants to win every single rep, and he's very critical of himself. Like, he knows when he does something right or wrong. I've only had him for a few months now, maybe 5 months, but he's very, very coachable. Allows me to coach him hard. Wants to know what he does right and what he does wrong. So,
is he best in man coverage or zone, or is he equal in both?
A little bit of both. He has a good feel as far as zones go. Has a good feel of reading route combinations, reading the receiver's release. Another great thing about him is he's a physical kid as far as tackling. He wants to get involved.
Where is he compared to Michael Davis, who's making big bucks with the Chargers?
Different.
Different?
Yeah, different player. And I told Mike when I first got here, within the first week, I told him, I was like, you can be a good NFL player because you're tall, you're fast, and he can play man to man.
Yeah.
And I always told Mike where he struggled a lot was playing zones, was having a feel for zone concepts. But as far as a man, just a true man corner, Mike was good.
When Michael was here, I was at practice a couple of different times, and it's interesting that it was the Chargers scout that was there, and we were watching one-on-ones, and Michael was winning every one-on-one, which is kind of an offensive drill, right? Because there's no pass rush, there's nothing, right? Like he had like 5 straight breakups and a pick in one-on-one, and the guy goes, "Man, if we get a chance, we're gonna sign that guy."
Yeah.
And at the time, he wasn't even playing full rotations. And then the other guys were talking to him, and he said, "Listen, right now this is a zone-based defense. We play a man-based defense. This dude can just play man." Yeah. Like he goes, "Well, I'm telling you, we would take a shot at him." And then lo and behold,
they did.
They did. And so here's the interesting thing: you don't think it's hard or it's important to go and practice hard? Mm-hmm. I believe, based on that conversation, he signs with the Chargers because of what they saw him doing one-on-ones on practice time after time, every time they came.
Absolutely, you got to practice hard. When you practice the right way, games become easier.
Now we hear about Eddie that he's an NFL guy. He's come down here to play one more year to go to the NFL, which puts pressure on you and Jay Hill to help get him ready. But that's no different from what Aaron Roderick's doing with Keaton Slovis and everybody else. Is Hecker? Does he got a shot at the next level?
I think he has the ability.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, he's gonna have to come and he's gonna have to show and improve what he is.
Right.
We can coach him. We can tell him exactly what to do, but at the end of the day, you got to make the plays when the plays come to you.
You have another Weber State transfer. It's interesting, corners, and they had really, really good corners this last year. Camden Garrett was announced not that long ago that he also was going to join Eddie Heckert down here. What about Garrett? What skills does he bring? Is he similar to Eddie Heckert, or is he different?
Similar, a little. He might be a little quicker than Eddie. Maybe more of a cover guy. But again, he's a guy who's very, very competitive. You can watch him on film. Playing man to man and getting in the grills of the wide out, running with him, making plays. He has a little swag to him, which I like.
Yeah.
So that'll be good to have those two here together.
If you have a question for Jernaro, send it to us on our stream, and we'll make sure we ask it. We watched Jacob Robinson get better and better, and now he's back for some more. What do you like in his development as we sit here in the end of May?
Man, with Jacob, it's been everything. Watching him from high school, it's been a long journey. It's funny because I didn't think he was as fast as what he was. So coming out of high school, it was like, man, are you gonna offer me? I'm like, I don't think you can run. He's like, well, what do you need to see? I'm like, I need to see you run. I'm like, do you run track? Like, no. So he ran a 40, and it was electronic. He went out and bought the whole AccuTrack system.
Oh, wow.
And everything, like literally. And he ran. I want to say he ran like a 4.50. So I'm like, oh, he can run. Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. So he sent it to me, and of course, in like 10 minutes later, I called and offered him. Of course, he went to Utah State first, for reasons. But at the end of the day, he's here now.
And he got his first pick against Utah State.
Yeah, and he's here now, and he's right with those other guys as far as being so competitive. And he's good at both man and zone. He has the feel for zones, and he's not afraid to tackle, which is a good thing. And he has great ball skills, which really helps him out.
Yeah, I would. Our buddy Bilo, who joins us on some of our other shows we do, he watches Jacob and he says, "Oh, this kid." He goes like, "Ball skills are really hard to teach." Because you either can track the ball in the air and make a play on it, or you can't, and you can teach them little things. He goes, but this dude just has them. And he goes, and I like his quick feet, and he's light on his feet, and he's got good hips. He goes, if this kid will work, he can really play. Is that a good evaluation of Jacob?
It is, man. He's been one of the better guys in my room, honestly, for the last 2 years. We've had some pretty good units in the last 2 years, but he's definitely been there. So we had to find ways to get him on the field, playing, whether it's playing free safety, strong safety, nickel. But he found his way on the field. So
we were there last year on the practice field when Maury Bamba showed up for the first time, and Caleb and some of the guys took him after practice, and they're out there doing drills, and that's kind of where we watched this tall, slender guy who's got a lot of speed. And now he's back. He's not a new kid in town anymore. What about Maury?
Yeah. Another guy who's tall, long and fast. For him, it's all about the mentality. If he gets his the mental aspect of the game down and become more confident and just know that he's a dude, he can be great.
Really?
But again, that's
how hard is it to know you are a dude?
You know what? It comes from repetition.
Yeah.
Like you said, you go against the guys all the time, every single time, and you start winning a lot. And then you start playing against other guys and guys who are supposed to be like dudes, like, man, this guy's supposed to be really fast, but you start running next to him and he can't run past you. You're like, okay, hold on.
Yeah.
And our bigger guys are supposed to jump over you, and they can't ever jump over you, or small guys who are quick, and they're supposed to get off the line of scrimmage, but you're holding them up. So then it just starts to add up, and eventually you're like,
you think,
know what?
I am a dude. I'm a dude.
You start calling yourself prime time.
Right.
And no one's going to run past you.
Hey, I wanted to ask you about Jacob Bourne. Like, he's an interesting story because it's like, at first when he was here, he's like, man, this is like really quick guy, with great feet. Like, where's he going to play? Is he going to play in the slot? Do we play him at safety? Can he play nickel? Does he? But it's like he's just got such quickness and determination. How are we going to get him on the field? In terms of just pure quickness, he seems like he's one of the quickest guys on the field, right?
Absolutely.
So how does he fit in? Does he play corner? Does he play nickel? Where are you guys going to use him this year?
So everybody in my room knows both corner and nickel. But as far as Jacob goes, he'll be primarily nickel.
Primarily nickel this year, which is a big responsibility, especially in some of the man concepts when you're playing with against these spread teams, right?
Yeah.
So assess him then, because he plays a corner-like role when he's got to get out there and cover slot receivers, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But again, another guy who can run with anybody. Now JB, well, that's what we call him, JB.
Jacob Bourne. Okay.
Yeah. But he's a guy who's extremely confident. Like, I love it. Like he's extremely confident, physical guy. Again, loves to mix it up. A guy who has a short-term memory, but he has the confidence like he's going to make every play. So can't wait to get him on the field. I was kind of upset that he missed spring ball because I wanted everybody to kind of see him go through spring, go through the new system, to see how he picks it up, to see how he covers and just adapts to everything.
Yeah, he's a smart player, right?
Like, very smart. Yeah.
Caleb Christensen, he's been dealing with some health things. Those behind him,
and he's a lot like Jacob, where it's like, where are we going to play him?
Yeah.
Like, what's the best place to play him? Right?
Yeah, very, 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 very similar. In all aspects of it. Both are smart guys. Both are very, very quick. Both are very, very strong. Probably pound for pound, some of the strongest guys on the field as far as JB and Caleb go. So they'll both be battling as far as the nickel goes, but at the same time they both play corner as well. So they'll get reps as far as the outside goes, but but primarily it'll be nickel.
It's interesting because I see Jacob run, I see Caleb run, I see Jacob Robinson run. Last year you had Caleb Hayes, who can run with anyone, right? Anyone.
Yeah.
And yet I hear people say, well, BYU has to do this and this because they just don't have the kind of speed that other teams. And I'm like, you're talking about BYU 10 years ago. BYU has speed, right? Am I missing it, or you have the speed in the back end to be able to play, right?
Yeah. And the fastest guy we probably didn't even talk about yet is Evan
right.
Johnson.
Right.
Who came in third last year in the California 100-meter, running 10:41.
And he's an absolute 4.3 guy, right?
Oh yeah.
Easy.
He'll be able to. He can run. Him and Maury can both like really run. And then Marcus McKenzie, who won the Utah State meet on a strained hamstring, ran like a 10:55 or something
right,
like that.
Which also will translate to a 4.3 or better, right?
Yes.
And so when people say there's like, that's a bunch of fast guys, as fast as anybody has. So speed is not an issue for BYU in the secondary, right?
No, we just have to do a good job developing those guys into becoming better corners, being able to play man, being able to play zone, tackling, and putting it all together. But we've had success as far as taking guys who have been fast and putting them in the right place, and guys have been pretty successful as far as after BYU goes. Like you mentioned before, the Michael Davises, the Chris Wilcox,
right?
The Caleb Hayes, who's with Jacksonville now, D'Angelo, who's with Dallas.
Yeah. And D'Angelo has a chance, right? Because he's got a big body. Yeah. So he's a big body guy. He's competitive.
Yeah.
If he's in the right place, he's got a chance, right?
And again, D'Angelo is similar to Mike as far as being the tall guy who thrives in playing man.
Right.
Struggled in zones more than man. As far as man goes, he was actually very, very successful.
Yeah.
Zones is where he kind of struggled a little bit.
And so I can't remember what the Cowboys run, but if it's a man-based system, he may find himself a home, right?
And it is man. They play a lot of man, so he's in a good situation to where he can go and again, he has to go and compete and just kind of go from there.
Jernaro Gilford earned his sociology degree at BYU, his master's in education at Whittier. Been the cornerbacks coach at the Cougars since 2016. He's on the Wise Guys tonight, and we are thrilled to have him here. How do you feel about this group as a whole when you consider size and depth and the league you're going into? So it's the corners, and we get asked all the time, how are the corners?
Yeah. I think we have a good group, a good mix of guys from height. We have some length, we have some short guys, we have quick guys, we have fast guys, physical guys who are not very physical. So we have the whole package. Now it'll just come down to who's gonna compete as far as fall camp goes, and who's gonna be on the field. At the end of the day, we're going to a big time conference with big time wideouts. That's what they're known for. Known for putting up points. It is what it is. That's the Big 12. So we'll have our hands full, but at the end of the day, guys are very hungry, and this is what they wanted. They didn't shy away from it when they found out where we're going and who we're gonna play against, and they were excited. So I just told the guys to make sure that they take all that excitement, into this summer and work hard, because as soon as we get back as far as fall camp, it's gonna get rolling, and we'll be a few weeks away from game time.
Where will be the biggest challenge, do you think, in this league? Not necessarily which team, but week after week, where's the mindset going to have to be for this group to be successful in this league?
They're going to have to want it every single week. Every single week, there's really no breaks, But at the end of the day, I think Tom and Kalani did a good job over the last few years as far as scheduling goes. It's not like we haven't played any P5s.
Like the year you won the Pac-12 championship, we talk about that all the time.
6-1 or whatever it was.
You guys won the championship. We should put a banner in the stadium for that year.
So we've had opportunities to play, SEC schools, the Pac-12 schools. The Big 12, Big 10. So we've played those guys, So we just have to get our guys knowing that it's going to be that every single week now,
And that if you give up 35 points, you're not out of the game. In this league, right?
You shouldn't be in this league.
Yeah. Well, how many 45 to 37s did we see last year? There was, and some worse than that.
Yeah, no, and that's the and not even just last year. That's just the history of the Big 12. They've been doing that for
right.
decades.
Oklahoma wins games where they give up 50.
Yeah. And they celebrate the win. They don't go, I can't believe we gave up 49. They go, guys, we got 55 today.
Yeah. BYU's fans have to have a new mindset. It's just going to be like, there's going to be some games that are a defensive struggle.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And you guys win it on your side. There's going to be some games where it just gets crazy and you get a hot quarterback and a couple hot receivers on both sides, and it's a track meet. And fans are going to have to go, hey, a win is all we care about, right?
Absolutely. Hey, look, a win is a win. Now, of course, after the game, as far as the defensive staff, we're going to be in there like, okay, hold on, what's going on? But at the end of the day, we know what we're getting into as far as the Big 12 goes. So it's gonna be a battle, But I think guys will be ready for it.
Well, we've had on the show, we've had Jay Hill, we had Justin Enna come in with us, we had Sione in here and in this seat. They all promised us a pass rush. Did they promise you that too in the back end? And how important, again, in a league like this where they spread it out and throw the ball, will pressure be to the success of this defense overall?
They didn't promise me anything. They don't have to promise me anything. At the end of the day, I'm very, very happy, and if we win, I'm good. I'm good. But of course, it's always good to have a good pass rush. The rushing coverage, we work together. So if you have a good pass rush and we're blowing coverages, it really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And vice versa. If we're covering our butts off, but we don't have a pass rush, it doesn't matter. So they definitely have to work together, and that's one thing that Jay does very, very well. He has a history of doing it, especially over the last 10 years. As far as being the head guy at a Weber, playing against all different kind of offenses and different schools. He's always had a plan that's successful.
I remember talking to Rocky Long way back when, and we would say to him, how do you find the corners that can hold up? Because they were just playing 95% man, right? Just press man all over the field. And he would go, oh, no, we have really average corners. Like, if that quarterback still has the ball 2 seconds from now, then that's my fault because we didn't design the blitz strategy well. Like, he's like, no, you don't have to be great at corner if you can get in the offense's face and get home every time. And so it's a little different philosophy, but sounds like Jay brings a blend of sometimes you bring it and sometimes you play coverage, right?
Yeah. He does. He has a plethora of things. It might be 3 down, 4 down, bringing pressure, bluffing, whatever the case may be. But he does a lot of things to help everybody as far as the defense goes, the D-line backers and the DBs.
So before we ask you we go back in time with you to the days you were on the field. When you look at Texas or Oklahoma, and let's just pick those two because they're the creme de la creme of this league for so long, and you see the tools they have, and BYU's been successful against Texas, and they've never had a bad recruiting class like ever, so that doesn't matter. But when you think we're going to go to Austin, we're going to play Texas, it's going to be on national TV, and my guys have an opportunity to shock the world again, or get run over. What causes the most anxiety?
For me, as a player, it was probably just like the big stadium and knowing that you were playing a big time school. It was never like I'm playing against Mike Williams or or Kerry
which you
Kohler.
Did, right? You played against Mike Williams, right?
Yeah,
and you just shut him down.
I did all right.
Yes, he did. He did all right against Mike Williams. That's right.
I did all right.
So it's Bevo. It's the 100,000 in Austin.
Yeah,
and it's
just the different kind of just the different sceneries, the way people tailgate, how loud people are, the way they talk to you. It's just a little different. But it was exciting, just to know.
You don't want to be on a smaller stage, right?
No,
that's where you want to be.
That's what you dream of as far as like growing up, as far as a kid, so for me, it was like, oh, we're going to play SC at SC, like yes, like that was like a dream, like right. For sure, like let's go, like we're playing Notre Dame at Notre Dame, like yes, like
fantastic.
Grew up playing at those stadiums as far as video games and like college football video games, like okay, you're playing at Notre Dame or at Michigan, or at Tennessee.
Nebraska.
And you've done all of that in these last. You talk about that scheduling with Tom and Connie, those guys. You've done all of that in the last 10 years.
So and that's what I was saying. They've done a great job of getting us prepared. Again at the Tennessees, at the Mississippi States, at the Michigan States, Redskins stadiums against West Virginia, right? Cardinal Stadium, Raider Stadium. So it's nothing. It's nothing new. It'll just be fun to play those guys week after week.
Yeah. All right. During that 12-2 season in 2000, 12-0 start.
Yeah.
We always think about the offense with Brandon Doman, Luke Staley, Reno Mahe, but you had an incredible season that year on the defensive side.
A little bit.
Yeah. What was it like starting 12-0?
No. You know what? I tell my guys now, for us, winning was like expected. Like we knew that we were going to win games. Like it was nothing. No matter who we played, we felt like we worked. We felt like we had all the tools. And again, defensively being led by Justin Enna, with him controlling the huddle. You had no choice but to play hard.
Yeah.
Does he seem? Because I remember when he was playing, he was like in charge out there as a coach. Does he
in charge?
Yeah, exactly.
In charge.
Right. So he's the same right now.
Yes.
He's the same. I love that though. Right. That's
I tell him every day. I'm like, hey, I love you, dude. You're the exact same, and I love it. I love it. Absolutely love it.
That's great. Hey, in 2001, you started all 14 games. Which it's to stay healthy in a college football season for 14 games, start every game. And staying healthy as a team is something that's the difference between a great season and an average one. But you finished number 6 in the country with 6 interceptions, none bigger than, in our opinion, than the game clincher against Utah. Take us through that play that sealed BYU's come from behind 24-21 victory.
Yeah.
Were you playing zone or man?
Yeah, tell us about that play.
Man, yeah. We were playing man. I knew they were trying to get in field goal range, so in my head I knew he was going to run either a curl or a comeback or out, something to stop the clock. And in my head I'm like, I was watching his hips, and mentally I was like, if he does anything, if his hips sink in any kind of way, I'm breaking on it. If he runs a double move, he's gonna score.
Because you're going on the first one.
Or you'll collision him, yes,
right? But I'm going for the pick. I'm not going to sit here and lie. I was like, no. So but those are things that Coach Mitchell went over with us, time after time. Situational football, as far as teams driving the ball, they'll go for, on curls, comebacks, outs, stuff to get a first down, stop the clock, whatever the case may be. He always told me, trust it. Trust your eyes. So I'm trusting my eyes. And
so I got 2 questions about that.
Yes.
As soon as you picked it off, did you think you were going to the house?
No, I probably should have took a knee because the game was over. I honestly, I don't know. I was just running. I was just excited. I don't know. I didn't.
So what now, just before that, Luke Staley took a touchdown in. Place went bananas. Mm-hmm. What was louder, the crowd for Staley or did you notice the crowd for you, which sealed the game? Because the crowd's already jacked up. Now the Cougars are ahead, and then you come up with a pick to end it.
To me, it was Staley, because when I'm playing, I can't really hear the crowd during the play. So for me, it was like, so Luke's was like crazy,
electrifying, right?
Yeah, and I was helping the crowd, yelling too. So, yeah.
So you picked yours up and you're running just quiet.
Yeah,
you're not hearing anything.
It's like I'm in the tunnel. Like I can't hear anything. Like,
well, let me tell you, they were going bananas.
Yeah, they were going
too.
nuts. So I want to ask you, because you mentioned a term. You said like situational awareness, the term we use. And how much time do you spend with the guys on that, and how important is like on the offensive side of the ball? Like I'll be watching a game, and since I played quarterback here, it'll be the 2-minute offense, and I won't say it on the air, but I'll go, when you come out of the huddle, you say to yourself, 2-minute offense, we don't have any timeouts. I cannot take a sack. Mm-hmm. So you like give yourself little checks, like as you're coming out of the huddle. So when a quarterback takes a sack in the 2-minute offense and there's no timeouts, I'm like, what is he? Yeah. Like, how can you not know that? Yeah. You say that to yourself coming out of the huddle. How much of that happens on defense, and how important is that?
It's very important. But the same thing, a 2-minute offense with no timeouts. Okay, sacks and keeping everybody in bounds. So, right. It's the same thing. Or if it's third and long, if we're in zone and the corner bites on a shallow cross and gives up a smash concept behind him, it's like, what are you doing? Like,
let him have that. Rally to the ball, right?
Who cares? Like, right. Yeah. So but we're all over that as far as the 2-minute, third and longs, third and shorts, second and shorts, as far as shot downs. If it's 2nd and 1, for us, we always just call it shot downs because it's 2nd and short, and they got 3rd and 4th down to get a yard. So just be cautious of them taking a shot on 2nd and 1 or 2nd and short, whatever the case may be. And then we'll break down teams as far as first downs and stuff like that, just to kind of see what teams like to do as far as tendencies. If we can get a beat on certain tendencies, then we can put our guys in the right situation, at least majority of the time.
And when you say, hey, it's I make a guess that the guess is a really educated guess. You were saying against the Utah, it's like, wait a minute. It's the end of the game. They're trying to get in. They're trying to get into field goal range. So he's probably not running a double move because they can't afford to take a sack. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to take a really good educated guess that his first move is the move, and it's either going to be a comeback or it's going to be a dig or a curl. Yeah. And as soon as he makes that move, I'm breaking.
I'm out. Yeah, I'm out.
But that's complete situational awareness, and you have the confidence to do that. And then what happens is you get a pick.
Yeah,
that's everybody's got to play like he played.
Speaking of picks, there's a stretch in that season you get interceptions in 3 consecutive games: UNLV, Utah State, and New Mexico. What did you do on the field that you're trying to teach your guys to do on the field right now?
Trust your instincts. You
got to have them right first, and then trust them.
For sure, and just trust them. If you do your homework, when the test comes, you'll pass.
Right.
If you study for your test, if you study for it the right way, you'll be confident as far as taking the test. It's the same thing as far as football goes. If you study the right way, when everything comes as far as on the field, it starts to come back to you. Like, okay, certain formations, certain splits, just certain situations, you kind of know what's coming, and you kind of have to validate it. Sometimes you might see it once, you're like, I'm not 100% sure. Then they do it, you're like, okay, I got you now.
Yeah.
Right. And situational awareness on like, you're like, okay, wait a minute, I'm into the boundary and there's 3 receivers. Like you go, this is what they're going to do here. And I have a 98% surety they're going to do it. So if they do this, I'm jumping it.
Go.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what you teach these kids. Yeah.
I tell my guys, I'm like, look, man, if it's something that we went over, and you see it and you believe it and you trust it, I'm like, go. And if it's wrong, just blame it on me. Like, hey, man, Coach G told me. I'm like, I got you.
I've got your back on this.
But if something I didn't say, I'm like, no, hold on.
Hang on. Coach G, Jernaro Gilford with us on the Wise Guys. We've got just a few more questions, and we sure appreciate having you here tonight. No pick sixes in your 37 games at BYU, so we had to open
lots
up
of picks.
We had to open up the history book and go to your first varsity game at Westchester High School in LA. You return a kick 101 yards for a touchdown. What happened?
Yeah. They were driving towards the end of the game. We were playing Santa Monica at Santa Monica College, and they tried to throw a fade. First varsity game, picked it, and again, I probably should have went down again
because the game was over.
Because the game was over, and then I just remember breaking the tackle, and I was like, oh, and I was kind of like striding a little bit, and I'm like, oh wait, nobody's around. Well,
let's go.
I might as well just keep running. So
I set that up as a kick. It was a pick.
It was a pick.
101 yards.
Yeah.
So after 50 yards, you still have another 51 yards to go.
I was
and
out,
you
yeah.
see the end zone. What's that feeling like?
Oh yeah, no, I was definitely scoring then. It was too late. I've already ran like 50. I was like, okay, well.
Did you spike the ball in the end zone or kick it up into the crowd or?
Honestly, I think I did like a little dance or something. I did.
Did you get a penalty?
I don't think so, but like the team like rushed me and like did the whole dog pile.
Yeah. You have to. 101 yards.
Yeah, so
that's great.
Well, when Kalani, you were among Kalani's first hires, 2016. You came right, and when he got this job, you're the only defensive guy retained, other than analysts and GAs, of course. Coach Fowler got kept with you.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, Coach Fowler comes home. There's multiple times he comes back and he's like, Coach G is so money. He's the most underrated coach on this staff. Like, he just knows his stuff. So he feels like he's learned a ton of stuff from you. I appreciate you doing that with my guy. Well, but during that offseason staff change, you're the only one that Kalani keeps. What is it that Kalani saw in you that he's like, I have to have this guy? Because I know that Kalani said, I have to have this guy. He did say that.
You know what? I think my relationship with the guys, honestly. I mean, I feel like I'm one of the better cornerback coaches in the country. That's just me.
If you're going to play corner, you have to feel like one of the best corners, right?
I mean, that's just me. And then BYU is home. I know what's going on. I know how to relate to certain guys because I've been down this path. So just from that aspect of it, just the being so personable, and then just talking ball with Kalani. We're on the same page a lot.
Yeah. What is it you like? Kalani seems like he's a great guy to work with. What do you love?
Best.
What do you like the most about working with Kalani?
You know what? He doesn't have an ego. He wants to hear from everybody. As far as coaches, analysts, GAs, regardless of the fact, if it's something that's going to make the team better, that's what he wants to do. It's not like, okay, I'm the head coach. This is what we're doing. Everybody else be quiet. Now, of course, there are times where this is what I want. This is what we're going to do. Okay, for sure. But as far as game plan and stuff like that, he's always open to listening to everybody. What do you think? What do you think as far as the analysts, the GAs? What did you see while you're breaking down film? Because that's when I watch the most film. When I actually break it down, games, you find tendencies more than you do as far as just a coach just watching a normal game. But when you literally break it down, that's when you find like true tendencies as far as a receiver splits. Does he mess with his gloves when he's getting ready to catch a ball? Is his hands moving? Just certain things like that. His splits and everything like that. So you kind of get a feel for things like that.
When you study all of that, going into a league you've never been in before, that's highly competitive, it seems like the job of the defensive analysis, the analysts, and you guys it's a whole new world of your job. I mean, some of the teams we played before, like in independent schedules, like where they are this year, like Arkansas. Last year was Arkansas. This year's Arkansas.
New coach
but some of these teams are all brand new.
That's right, new staff.
That's true, new staff. So is it just a mountain of information every week?
It's going to be, yeah. But it's going to work both ways. They haven't played us either. So, I mean, from their normal conference, their little folder that they'll have that you played against a head coach, it's gonna be something new for them.
It's not like the president with the nuclear codes. Hand the football over to the new opponent.
because I'm not sure if any of the coaches have played against Jay. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah. So BYU's advantage, they haven't been in that league, and they got a whole new system defensively,
and a new quarterback there's plenty of footage of Keaton Slovis, but
not playing in this
here.
offense.
Yeah, so that's gonna be
some new receivers and some new Well, speaking of Jay, so new system defensively. You had a chance. He's been here since the beginning of the year now, and you've been through spring ball. What impact do you think Jay and this style of defense will have as you guys go into the Big 12?
The mentality, man. He's brought a different mentality. He wants guys to be violent. He wants guys to get to the ball. He wants guys to make plays and being a smart football player. He's definitely a guy who genuinely loves to play good defense. In which of course every defensive coordinator does, but that's just what he does. He's gonna throw some things at you that you've never seen, things that you're gonna struggle against. And he's gonna take some chances.
I've been staring at that shirt you're wearing for the last hour. There's the Nike logo, the old school BYU logo, and the Big 12 logo. This says everything to a BYU fan. You got history, you got the future, and you got financial support. That's like the trifecta of logos right there.
Yeah. This is my favorite recruiting shirt.
That's right. When it's time to emphasize Big 12, you just lean to your right.
Yeah.
I want to know if Coach G, if he did what so Gavin comes home and he calls his brothers. He says, guys, all of our new stuff has Big 12 stuff on it, so I'm gonna have a hand me up sale because they're older brothers. I'm gonna do hand me ups. I'm gonna lay it all out in sizes on the floor, and you guys come over and take the stuff that you want because all of my gear needs to have Big 12 on it now. So the brothers all came over, and they got to pick and try on all the stuff. And the brothers all played at BYU, but they don't get the gear like you guys do. So all the non-Big 12 stuff is all out to the family now. Yeah. Did you have a hand me up day?
I don't have to because all of my friends who come out to see me, or anytime I go back to LA, I can't go back empty-handed.
You got to take the stuff.
I've probably sent, I'm not even exaggerating, I've probably sent 50 boxes since I've been here. Stuff like home. Like
everyone in LA
that's great
should
though,
be having
right?
a
Isn't
BYU
it awesome?
shirt.
You'd love to be able to do it, right? It's so cool.
Like when we played SC 2 years ago.
Right. Yeah. 2 years ago.
I think I had to get like 75 tickets. And like literally everybody had BYU stuff.
Nice.
I'm like, hey, y'all costing me a lot of money to do all this now.
But I appreciate
better
the support.
wear your shirts.
I love the support.
Keanu Hill's dad, Lloyd, and his uncle, Roy Williams. They both told me they wear their BYU shirts all over Texas.
All over the place in Texas, which I love.
They got blood in the game.
Yeah.
And this year, Lloyd's going to be on our pregame show when we host Texas Tech.
Yeah. Because he played there, right?
He's in the Hall of Fame.
He's a Hall of Famer. Yeah, he's big time.
And then when we go to Texas, that Roy's in the Circle of Honor up there. We'll see. We'll see if he puts a BYU shirt on in a home game at Texas. That's going to test some family loyalty.
Oh,
but I bet he does.
Blood. He's got to wear a BYU shirt. Yeah, he's got to wear a BYU shirt.
Let's do 5 questions and get you out of here. You good? Ready to go?
Yeah, these ones we just everybody.
Okay.
So you just top of your head stuff, and this we get to know you a little bit.
And everybody on your defensive staff's been grilled like this.
Yeah, okay. and we won't make fun of any of them except for one.
For the most part.
Except for one. So your favorite sports movie?
The Program.
The Program.
The Program.
That's a good one. Nobody's had that one.
No.
Remember the Titans is a very common one. Of course, we bring Danny Ainge and those guys in, and they're like Hoosiers and some of the
Marie
best.
Osmond was Hoosiers. I think.
Marie was Hoosiers.
Who was the star of The Program?
Omar Epps was in it, and there was a few other guys, but it was a football movie.
Yeah.
Football movie. Program. Okay.
Your favorite singer or band?
Ooh, favorite singer or band? Let's go.
I introduced everybody on the show to Jelly Roll, but they didn't know who he was. But
Hey, this is only a 2-hour program.
Okay, I have to go. I have to say Tupac just because that's what I listen to a lot.
And you're from California.
Tupac?
You can't be going with Biggie.
You're right.
because I'm from New York and I'm supposed to, but I like Tupac better. But don't tell my friends.
I have to go with Tupac. That's
Okay,
what I listen
Tupac's
to.
a good one.
Amber Whiting went with a Notorious B.I.G.
Yeah, she did. Amber, our women's basketball
Yeah.
coach, she wanted Notorious B.I.G. We're like, okay,
All
Amber.
right, we'll write it down.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, your favorite breakfast cereal?
O's.
O's?
O's. Just OH.
Yeah.
O's. Okay.
But now, are O's? Do they have sugar on them? Right?
Yeah, it's like
it's like a sugar honey thing, isn't it?
yeah, it's like a honey oat. It's like
Yeah.
So it's like a
Like
it's
honey
like a Cheerio
with honey on it.
honey
Yeah. Some
oat
others have
with-
said that one, and
Inside.
we won't make fun of that one. But like Kyle Van Noy and Vanessa, his wife,
Or
were
Marissa,
like,
yeah.
or Marissa. It was like they don't feed their children cereal; they make them drink protein smoothies for breakfast. We're like, what are you doing?
Growing up, it was always like Crunch Berries.
Oh, Captain Crunch with Crunch Berries. I just fed that to my grandkids this weekend down in St. George.
That's a
Captain Crunch with
classic.
Crunch Berries, which I have got to agree with. Yeah.
All
Okay.
right, so we got O's.
Yep. Your favorite BYU moment. It could be coaching. It could be playing. It could be something that happened that didn't even have anything to do with football. It's just a BYU moment that's your favorite.
Probably Brian Mitchell getting an interception and running it back like I want to say it was like 99 yards or something, because I was always trying to get the record, see if I can do that, but I couldn't. So I have to give him a shout out and give him
Brian
some props.
Mitchell.
Yeah. And Brian was a
Who did he
really,
do that against? Remember?
I want to say it was New Mexico if I'm not mistaken.
You know what? All our big receptions, like Dewey Gray's 3 picks or whatever, all against New Mexico.
Yeah, New Mexico just like
You had a pick against New Mexico.
New Mexico was good defensively because they were crazy,
of them.
but on
Two
offense.
of them.
But on
Of course
offense,
you did. Of course you did.
they did struggle on offense, except for when Brian Urlacher was playing every position
Those
on the
poor
field.
Lobos.
You're right.
Yeah.
So,
He was a stud.
yep. Okay, and then last but most important, the favorite piece of advice that your wife Brittany's ever given you.
Ooh.
And she's probably listening, will.
No, that's fine.
Or she will send to the podcast.
We'll send to the
she can.
podcast so
So
she
you
listens
are
to
on the record.
No, honesty.
Honesty.
Yeah, that's the best advice that she's given me. Just always being honest, regardless of what's going on. Just be honest, regardless if it's with her, if it's with my players, because that's something you can never take back.
I like that.
Those are words to live by.
Yep,
A
absolutely.
word to live by for sure.
Yep.
Jernaro Gilford, outstanding cornerback in his day at BYU, a better cornerback coach. Now getting ready to take on the quarterbacks of the Big 12. That doesn't sound like that big of a deal, does it?
These guys got it. I'm not worried about them.
Thanks for coming on the show.
No, thanks for having me. Appreciate you.
It's great.
So-
It's great to have you here. We appreciate how you represent and.
And are you still
And
going to
we're glad
ride
to
your?
have
Are
you
you still
coach.
going to ride your bike to practice in the
Man,
fall?
you know what? I am. That's a fall camp thing. It's just now I'm gonna have to have Gavin meet me halfway or
So you're
Yeah.
riding from Vineyard, North
Yeah,
Orem?
see, he and Preston would ride, and they would post while they were riding, and Gavin would sometimes go out and ride
Yeah.
with them. And Preston's at Northern Colorado; they're doing great things there, and we wish them the very best.
We're going out to lunch tomorrow actually.
Oh, that's
Okay.
awesome!
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Tell
Oh,
him hello.
he's always part of the family, right?
Gotcha.
Always,
Yeah.
and so yeah, Gavin might have to meet him because Gavin would like to ride with these guys too. So yeah,
That's a
I'll figure it
tangent.
out.
nice
I'll
tradition.
figure it out.
Yeah, I'll figure it out.
Yep,
All right.
awesome.
If we don't see you sooner, we'll see you at practice,
Yep.
which is
Yes,
just
sir.
around the corner.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right,
Appreciate
so
it.
look,
Thanks so much, G.
The 3 games, the time starts are announced tomorrow morning for the first 3 games. ESPN's going to announce them. You want them late games? You want them day games?
honestly, whatever the players prefer, it doesn't matter.
There's a crazy record
But
the
Unless it
last 5
matters.
years with how BYU plays at night versus day. They're way better at night.
I was gonna say I will say this. I didn't know that, but for some reason, our night games are pretty good.
Yeah, they've been
the
great.
stadium's lit, and it's just
Yeah.
like I'm like I want them at night anyhow because early September it's 95
Oh,
degrees.
it's hot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the first few games can be early, so it can be hot. So the other team can be
Yeah,
hot.
other team would be hot and elevation. Yeah, that's true.
And then when conference comes, we can throw in a few late ones.
There you
Throw
go.
some snow
There you
games.
go.
We'll find
There
out
we
tomorrow.
go.
Jernaro, thank you.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, appreciate
Great
it.
to see you.
The great Jernaro Gilford, cornerbacks coach at BYU.